Hello. Yes, the fan is on, but it's too hot, it's summer, and so it's gonna stay on. Hi, hello, my name is Michaela. I'm a PhD student at the University of Tübingen, but I'm originally from New Zealand, and that is a very key factor in part of today's video. A little while ago, or a long while ago, I filmed myself writing the first chapter of a book that I'm writing. Basically, I am a PhD student here in Germany, but I still have a part-time job back in New Zealand, and for that part-time job we got a grant at the beginning of this year to turn our research into a book. So far we're doing, it's an oral history project, and we've been uploading all of the biographies we've been writing onto our open access website so that people can use it. But at the beginning of this year we got a grant to write it as a book, which is super exciting. And yeah, a few months ago, I think it was a few months ago, I found myself very stressfully writing the first chapter because it felt like a really groundbreaking part to this whole experience of writing a book. It was my first time actually writing a specific chapter for a book. I feel like my thesis is research and I'm kind of just writing lots of small pieces that are then being put together, but this was a first dedicated chapter for a book that's going to be published. And since then we have finished 4 of the 7 chapters, and we have 3 weeks left to finish the last 3, and then we've got to write an introduction and a conclusion, and I am stressing a little bit. 3 weeks is not a lot of time, and I've got them drafted out, if that makes sense, like bullet pointed, and I know what we want to talk about and everything, and we've got the biographies pretty much entirely written, but we still have to write. And I know I'm a fast writer, but it's just when it gets down to crunch time, I just start to panic. And so I thought, today is writing weekend, it's Saturday, and I've got until tomorrow night to finish the draft of the 6th chapter, and then I'm going to go to chapter 5, and then I'm going to go to chapter 7, and I'm going to try my hardest to document this whole process because it's something that I want to remember. I'm writing my first book. It's so exciting. And so yeah, hi, welcome, come along to this crazy chaotic video of writing a chapter for a book. This chapter is on research, so it's quite exciting. It's kind of going through, did I explain? I don't know. Basically the project is telling the stories of the first women medical graduates in New Zealand. So the first medical school in New Zealand opened in 1886, I want to say, and the first woman graduate was 1896, and then the second medical school only opened in 1968. And so our time period is 1896 until 1967, and we are trying to interview as many of the women that are still alive, and if they're not alive then we interview their families, and we work off secondary sources, and we do archival research and all this kind of stuff. Basically put it together, write a biography and upload it. Now what we are doing is we are taking those biographies and shortening them down to 1,000 to 2,000 word biographies, and then right at the beginning of each decade, so we're doing it by decades, we're writing context. And so we're doing what was going on in the first 2 decades, for example, that the medical school was open. The second chapter is on World War I and influenza, what was going on contextually there. The third one was on the interwar period. The 4th chapter is on the Second World War, and then it starts to change. So we've done those first 4 chapters, they're all done, they just need to be edited. And then what we're doing is we're splitting it up because there's so much that was going on post World War II until 1967 that we've decided to go with 3 main themes. The first one is on refugees and people that came to New Zealand. Some of them had to retrain, some of them came as children and had to grow up in New Zealand and then go through the New Zealand system, and some of them decided to leave, some of them decided to stay. We're not just focusing on their training but on their lives and careers as well. So refugees is one of them. The next one is on research and academics, so people who went into a research career, people who got employed at universities and taught, people who got some sort of awards for their work or did quite groundbreaking work and that kind of thing. That's going into that chapter. And then the final one is on family and children advocacy. I know it's kind of a strange haphazard thing, but in my brain it comes together, and I'm really hoping that when the chapter is finished it makes sense. But basically it's people who really provided advocacy for women's rights, whether it be with contraception or family planning, or just women in general being able to work, and people who really broke through the glass ceiling and being able to work full-time jobs if they wanted to, while also having a family and that kind of thing. But then also people who did quite momentous things in childcare and all that kind of stuff. So that is all quite different to pre-World War II. And things started to change since World War I, since so many men went overseas and women had to start working, or like were finally able to start working. I guess society finally started to accept them a bit more. But after World War II we start to see a really big change, and so that's why that's one of the themes. So we've just got those last 3 themed chapters to write, and it's quite exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. But that is basically what I am doing at the moment. I am currently writing chapter 6, and so it's on research, and so I'm just going through all the biographies at the moment, and I'm going to try shorten them down, but I'm just pulling out any information that I can use in the context section, because a lot of the research that has been discussed to do with this so far is from the men at the medical school, but a lot of these women were like working with the men and they just haven't been mentioned. And so I've got information on, like, for example, Horace Smirke was one of the first professors to become quite well known in research, and he did a lot on hypertension, but a lot of his research was actually based on a woman doctor that he employed that we interviewed. And so we've got her side of it and we're going to try and meld it together. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. Just wanted to give a bit of context for the next couple of videos, but yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of this video, and I guess I should keep going. Yeah.
She goes her own way, like I don't give a damn girl, and my God, she owns it. So many heartbreaks, goes back to 2014, and I think that she knows it. And if you've seen her, I know that you would believe it, cause
One biography. I'm actually using ChatGPT to help me, because it is just it's such a time saver at the moment. Basically, I don't like ChatGPT if you use it to write something right from the beginning, because then it's drawing its information from who knows where and it can't cite, or maybe it does cite and it just doesn't tell you. But I have found that if you already have a text, which is what we already have these like 7,000 to 10,000 word biographies. If you upload that and then ask it to condense it down to like 2,000 words or 1,000 words, it's actually really good at doing that. And then it keeps the tone of the original writer relatively. Because I didn't write some of these biographies, I kind of want to keep the credit for some of my colleagues. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing at the moment. This biography was around 7,000 words and it's now 1,700, which is epic. So I'm going to get my colleagues to read through it anyway to make sure that they're happy with the tone and all of that. But yeah, I'm super happy with how time saving that was, and now I'm going to move on to the next one. It's hot and my hair has changed again for like the millionth time today, but I think I'm done for the day. I'm so exhausted. I have been reading bios and changing them around and shortening them, and I am pretty exhausted. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 12, and there's only 2 more that I can do that have drafts, and I'm just waiting for information from everybody else and then I can start writing. So I'm pretty certain this is not going to be done by tomorrow night, but I'm going to try my hardest to get it done by tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, then Monday. But yeah, I'm going to leave this here for today, and I'll pick you up again tomorrow.
I know that you'd want her to, yeah I do. Everyone's taking their shot, but missing out on the cut. I think she knows that. She drives them crazy when she's looking like that. The way she's moving makes them want it so bad. Gets the attention that we wish that we had. Yeah, it's almost cruel, cause I want her to. Oh yeah, I'm running in circles just to make her react. My heart is racing, yeah, I want her so bad. I wanna kiss her, but I know for a fact that she's way too cool, but I want her to. Oh yeah, ripped skinny jeans and tattoos on both her ankles. 21 Pilot t-shirt, that's the stuff. Goddamn, she's so fly, knows how to write a good song, at least better than this. Cause if you've seen her, I know that you would believe it. Cause I know that you'd want her to, yeah the shot, but you'll be missing the cut. I think she knows that. She drives him crazy when she's looking like that. The way she's moving makes him want it so bad. Gets the attention that we wish that we had. Yeah, it's almost cruel, cause I want her to. Oh yeah, I'm running in circles just to...
You know, I could end this video on a very positive note and say, yay, I finished the chapter and I made all the notes and I submitted it and everything, and that is what I did. But unfortunately, quite a bit of time has passed since I filmed that last clip and now. And funny story. There we go, I can make you hands-free now. Basically, I am one of 2 historians on a team of doctors who are working on this project. And I spent all of this time and effort writing a chapter about the research that the women were doing and the groundbreaking stuff that they were doing. But obviously, because I'm a historian and not a doctor, or at least I think you could be both, but I am not, definitely not both, I didn't do such a great job in explaining the research, if that makes sense. I was going a lot more into the context. I was emphasizing the women themselves rather than the actual research they were doing. And while that's totally fine, because I'm on a team of doctors, they asked if they could then do a redraft of it and emphasize more of the research, especially because I had started with such a intense introduction. I have to read you my introduction, which I'm very proud they kept, but it's a little bit critical, if I can say that. I'll also post it on the screen so that you can read it, but I titled the chapter Women Who Made Their Mark in Research because of the way it starts. So, for Otago Medical School's 100th anniversary, Gordon Parry was commissioned to write an historical sketch of the school from 1897 to 1975. The monograph covers the foundation of the medical school and its expansion under the first 3 deans through to 1975. The chapter dedicated to research at Otago Medical School primarily focuses on Professors John Halliday Scott, Charles Hercus, and Horace Smirk. In another chapter, Men Who Made Their Mark, Parry discusses how these same men championed the state of medicine and paved the way for the future of research at the medical school. He concludes, research. The word seemed for many years to be synonymous with Hercus. His encouragement was by example, and by the practical help of somehow finding money for projects. The Dean's Fund, built up by Ferguson, was extensively used by Hercus, but what he gave most generously of all was his time and his understanding. His energy, skill, patience, and leadership combined to make him one of the most important figures in the history of a school which has attracted and retained so many men of distinction. But Parry neglected to mention the women who, during the same period, made their mark not only in the medical school but also beyond, even though by the time he was writing, the first New Zealand trained medical woman had been promoted to an assistant professorship at the Otago Medical School. Many more had made their mark on New Zealand, receiving a variety of accolades including King's and Queen's Service Awards. This chapter outlines the ways in which the Otago Medical School produced women of distinction in research and academic medicine. Basically, I decided to get a little bit catty because nobody's done this yet, and so thankfully they kept that introduction and they pretty much spent the next 2 weeks rewriting the whole thing while my historian colleague and I were working on writing the other chapters, and I'm happy to say that it's now done. This chapter is completely solidified. We've actually moved it to the last chapter because we've decided to extend it out to the full time period that we're doing for the book rather than just the post Second World War period. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It was a little bit of a, I don't want to say an ego hit to be told that it wasn't medical enough, which is totally fine, but it just, I don't know, I feel like when you spend a lot of time working on something, it can feel a little bit sad when people don't love it. And I know that the work isn't 100% great and all that. I know it's just a draft and everything, but I don't know, I just wanted to put this in here as a reality check of, yes, I can spend lots and lots of hours working on this book, but I don't know everything, and that's why we have a team to do this, and it's now at a place that we're really happy with. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to end this video here because it's long enough and there is so much more to come out. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed me chaotically working on this and actually talking about the project a bit more rather than just saying I'm writing a book, because a few people have asked what I'm actually writing about. So now you know. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you with another video very soon. Bye!